death of now 6 tourists, most of them backpackers, young men and women, who were traveling in Laos in recent weeks and were killed by methanol poisoning because they were given hooch, moonshine to drink in a particular hostel. This is really shocking because, I've been to Laos, I've traveled there with my kids, it's a very, very beautiful country. We weren't offered any hooch shots and we didn't take any. And I would advise anyone who's going out there to really be careful with this stuff. But it's a phenomenon that is alarming and I want to know why it's spreading. So let's go to Tommy Walker, reporter who covers Southeast Asia and joins us now from nearby Bangkok. And Bangkok is actually relevant, isn't it, Tommy? Because those are the hospitals where they've been treated.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, some of the patients were moved to Thailand, Thailand's next door to Laos, for treatment for this, suspected methanol poisoning. Thailand is one of the world's best healthcare systems. Yeah. So, they were quite get here, but obviously the consequences have been dire, as you said.
Has this happened before, or is this the first time that people have been critically ill or even killed by drinking methanol-based moonshine?
Cheap alcohol in Southeast Asia is very common.
Yeah.
Okay, we can talk about methanol specifically. And in August, 8 people in Thailand were killed by methanol. Okay, locals, and it was in local media. It probably didn't make international news because they're from Thailand. So that happened only just in August. I mean, cheap alcohol has been available throughout Southeast Asia, especially on backpacker hotspots. Yeah. Like you mentioned, we're talking about Laos, Vang Vieng. People go there to do tubing down the river. They buy cheap alcohol. So it's been common for so long. I'm surprised it doesn't happen more often.
Right.
As you talk about Thailand, I'm in Bangkok. Koh Phangan, which is home to the infamous full moon party. There's cheap alcohol available all the time. I was in Bangkok last night, coincidentally, to meet an old friend, and we went down the Khao San Road area. Lots of available cheap alcohol. So
you've got to be really careful. If you're traveling there, be really careful. And apparently this stuff, briefly, is made with methanol rather than ethanol because methanol is cheaper, but it'll also kill you.
Yes, basically. And that's what the Lao authorities are trying to find out, who made this boot-laced sort of alcohol made with methanol, which obviously has dire consequences. We've seen, like you mentioned, 6 people have been killed. We know at least one person is still unwell. There's probably a lot more. And we've seen in recent days people from the UK actually post on social media that they've recovered from this suspected methanol poisoning. So it's a real problem, So for travellers, especially young travellers, if they come into the region, stick to beer, bottles of beer or wine. These sort of spirits, we're not sure where they come from, so there is a risk there, as we've seen.
I mean, wine is quite difficult to get a hold of in Laos, I seem to remember, and Laotian wine may not be the best in the world, and so it's probably good not to be a wine snob and just stick to the beer.